Death and taxes, Ben Franklin said, is the two things that are guaranteed in life. But while everybody hates taxes, what if I told you that everyone's experience with loss, with death, is different? So how do we navigate death? Especially as we head to Father's Day, the death of dad, and especially at a young age. What does life look like after dad is gone? How do you navigate the sorrow and the grief? I'm joined today in a conversation by my friends Kevin and Katie. The three of us have three different stories, but we all share two things in common. We've lost dad at a young age, and we share a faith. How does that faith get us through that kind of loss, and where has it taken us today? That's all coming up right here, right now. I'm Sam Chen, and this is Face the Issues. Good evening and welcome to Face the Issues. I'm Sam Chen. Ben Franklin said that death and taxes are the two things that are certain in life. As my old mentor said, that's not exactly true. You don't have to pay your taxes. You will go to jail, but you actually don't have to pay those taxes. But none of us can escape death. But what happens when you lose a parent, especially at a young age or in those formidable years? Death is something all of us go through, and yet the experience is different for each of us. I'm joined today by two dear friends of mine, Kevin and Katie. All three of us have lost our fathers in different ways at different times in different stages of life. But all three of us share a faith. And we're going to talk about how that has gotten us through some of the most traumatic things that could happen in life. Kevin, Katie, welcome to Face the Issues.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us. And this is such a heavy conversation, but I think it's such an important conversation, and one that I don't think we have a lot. In that I think we often, in the days after a passing, we kind of you get this overwhelmed with all the texts and the cards and everything, and then I think we kind of just move on from it. Like even in church settings, we're really good about divorce care or things like that, and I think sometimes we just almost accept death is a part of life. We do the funeral, we move on. Mm-hmm. And yet I think there's a lot of people who struggle with this, especially as we come up on Father's Day. So I'm just so grateful that you guys are willing to have this conversation. So let's just jump in. Katie, we're gonna start with you.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about your dad.
So my dad was always the funny guy in the room, making everybody laugh so hard that their bellies hurt. Super outgoing, friendly, would talk to anybody, but funny was his thing. We'd be around the dinner table with extended family and everybody's locked into his stories, laughing, reminiscing, and that's probably the thing I missed the most about him was his humor, but he also was very creative and intentional and thoughtful. I would always find little notes around the house, or one time he went away for, a business trip or something, and when I went to bed at night, I turned off the lights and I laid down in bed, and there was a glow-in-the-dark poster that he painted that says, Dad loves Katie. He just found the most creative ways to always tell me and my brother and my mom that he loved us, and he had an eye for photography, he could draw, he was also athletic, he was just a really well-rounded guy. People loved him. He was the life of the party. But I think underneath the surface, we didn't always think about this, but there was a lot of depression and mental health stuff going on that we couldn't really see. And it's interesting, I've learned that's really common with comedians. Mm-hmm. They have a lot of hidden depression mm-hmm. and things like that. And that was totally my dad. He was so funny, so happy on the outside, but on the inside, I think he was gradually getting just worse and worse in his mental health. But we, as his own family members, didn't even really see it or know what was going on. And so January 3rd, 2012, he committed suicide. And that was totally a shock to our family. We did not see it coming. It was he was in my life, and then the next day he was gone. So that's my dad.
Yeah, I think I knew your dad a little bit. Mm-hmm. Everything he said, it was just, I remember hearing about his passing and just being wait, what?
Yeah, same.
No, Mr. Fisher's the funniest guy ever,
Yeah.
right? Like it just, and it's so interesting. We just saw the news as we're taping this. Just saw the news last night that the founder of ESPN Sports Science. It was a show for 10 years where he merged sports with science, like actually broke down, like, if you're going to shoot over LeBron James, what's the angle trajectory you have to get? That was an incredible show. Died, committed suicide last night or 2 nights ago. And same thing, just to your point, like hilarious, smart, brilliant. No one saw it coming.
Yeah.
Like, Kevin, how about you?
Yeah.
Tell us about your dad.
My father, he was a very stable individual and also an unexcitable guy. It was he just was somebody who's steady. He also had this reluctant smile on his face most of the time.
Okay.
And if you could bring that smile out, you did something good, But yeah, he was a working man, father of 6.
You're one of 6.
One of 6,
oh my goodness, okay.
Lots of
You
kids.
win the sibling fight because we're both 1 of 2.
Yeah. My wife is an only child, so she gained some siblings when we got married. But my dad, he was a working man, a man of integrity, a man of I don't know if I'd say grit. He was very stable, and you could rely on him. A servant heart. I think that's one of the things I admired most about my dad is that he served. Others came first. He always came last. And that shined. I remember one Christmas, this really stuck out to me and kind of put me to shame, in comparison to my dad, because we raised chickens, and that was my responsibility, was to take care of the chickens. Yeah. And
I have a pet chicken.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Katie is Matt.
Have you named your chicken?
Waffles.
Waffles. Okay, excellent. Yeah. So we raised chickens, a lot of chickens, and it was my responsibility to take care of them. And my father, on Christmas Eve, reminded me, Kevin, you haven't cleaned the chicken coop in a while, and you need to do that. And I'm thinking, it's Christmas Eve. Why? I don't want to do that. And I actually put it off. I was lazy. I didn't do it. So Christmas morning, everybody opens their gifts, and we finished the whole, charade with all the kids and opening presents. And suddenly I was like, where's my dad? I'm like playing with my new thing as a kid. Where's my dad? And he was out cleaning the chicken coop, right? Because it needed to be done. Yeah. And that was like, when something needed to be done, he saw it through. So it put me to shame, but that really stuck out to me, not just because he was doing something I should have done, but that it's Christmas Day and his needs come second. Yeah. He puts the task first. So he was a very loyal individual, and he was a great guy.
Yeah, I think one thing, if I remember correctly, one thing we have in common is both our dads passed of cancer. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, it's true.
Tell us a little bit about what kind of cancer and
yeah, absolutely. So my father had a brain cancer, and I remember, so for me, it wasn't a sudden thing, losing my dad. There was a 3-year period. Oh. He went through 3 brain surgeries. And so there are challenges to that. It's not you get the call one day that dad's passed. Yeah. It's 3 years of dad passing. So there are challenges to that. But I remember finding out that he had brain cancer and just weeping. But it was an interesting scene because I received a call from my dad, and he said, he's just very somber, very matter of fact, Kevin, I've lost my job. I was fired today. And that was a shock because my dad was a hardworking man. And so to hear that from him, I could see he was kind of broken. And my mom was kind of furious about this. And so she takes him to the hospital to, get looked at. You have insurance for a few more days. My mom's very frugal, and so she's thinking, okay, we're going to get this checked out. Maybe there's something to this, because he was coming in late for work, getting warnings, and then they fired him. So my mom goes to the hospital with him. There's a doctor, and he didn't want to do a CAT scan, but my mom is frugal, and she's like, we're here, you're doing a CAT scan, we paid for this visit, we're going to get all we can out of it. And they find on the scan that he has a brain tumor the size of like a golf ball to a tennis ball size. And so it was obvious that that's why my dad was having a hard time, getting motivation, and it changed his personality a little bit. And so that was actually a relief to hear that, oh, dad isn't negligent. He hasn't, there's something to that. But still, it was challenging. And then it was the next weekend, he was in for surgery.
Wow.
Yeah.
First one.
Yeah, for the first brain surgery, yeah.
Wow. And your dad passed recently.
He passed in 2022.
Okay.
So within 3 years ago about, yeah.
Wow. It's so interesting. Cancer, different story with my dad. My dad was a pastor, a pretty well-known minister in the Asian community. And he had pancreatic cancer. And they gave him 3 months. So my parents being Asian parents, he was diagnosed in February. My sister and I were both in graduate school. And so they didn't tell us. So he was given 3 months and they didn't tell us for 3 months. And so they called us when our final papers were in. Wow. And so we found out in May. Thankfully, he lived longer than 3 months, but he was gone by September. And so it was kind of like split the difference. Like it was different. I think the struggle for me was we thought he was getting better. And so all the reports that we're getting from the hospital was actually that his cancer was in remission. And it was not. It was getting worse. And so I remember the morning, it was Baylor TCU football game at TCU, and we had a whole bunch of people at our apartment, and had the game on the TV, and my sister, or wasn't yet, like that morning, like we were just getting the grill ready, my sister calls me and is like, you need to fly to Atlanta. That's where my folks were living. And I was like, why? She's like, well, Dad's in the ICU. He's got water in his lungs. And I was like, this is like a normal thing. They just drain it and we're good. And she's like, no, like this is it. Like the doctor's like, he's not leaving the ICU. And so booked a flight, went out, like I still had everyone over. Sunday morning, friend drove me up to DFW airport. And I think I went to church. I was leading a team at the church. So I went to church to get set up Sunday morning. And then friend drove me up to DFW, or I took a ride to DFW. And then when I got to the hospital, the ICU doc sat down with me and was like, we started going over these medical reports, and she was putting up the scans versus the reports, and it was literally the opposite. And she's explained to me that there's this kind of new school of medicine where if doctors think hope is gone, they're going to try to rekindle the hope and hopes that if there's a little bit of hope left in the patient, they'll keep fighting. And so they'll falsify medical reports. And that was what was going on. And so it was a different, it's like cancer, so many different phases to it. Yeah. It was quick, 6 months our end. So. We're going to cut the break. When we come back, I want to talk about those moments after finding out about your dad and what that was like. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
Face the Issues is produced and recorded in the studios of Lighthouse TV. Positively different. Watch Lighthouse TV wherever you go. Available on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV. You can view our in-house studio productions on demand, or watch what's on the station right now with our 24/7 live stream. Search Lighthouse TV online on your streaming device, or go to our website lighthousetv.org for more information. Lighthouse TV, positively different.
Welcome back to Face the Issues. Kevin, let's start with you this time. You talked about how your dad passed. Let's talk about those days after. What was that experience like? I know this is the freshest for you of the three of us, but like what were those initial days and weeks like?
Yeah. I have to say there wasn't a lot of shock in my life because again, it'd been 3 years. Yeah. He'd been through multiple surgeries. And each surgery, we kind of lost like a little piece of Dad. So that was kind of the challenging part of 3 years. Yeah. After each surgery, I remember the first surgery going into, and the doctor speaking to us, and she said, your dad, his personality might be a little altered. And I think that was the most fearful thing of the experience. Not so much losing Dad, but wait, what does it mean for Dad to be different? Fortunately, he didn't lose a lot. right away, but gradually after each surgery, there were little pieces of him that slipped away, and that was challenging. Also, there were other elements to that where, for example, he became a little bit more compassionate in some ways. So he also gained some traits, a little bit more hug-oriented and affectionate in ways that weren't typical for him. So there was a beauty to it in a sense, but overall the challenge was like the incremental decline. And then I remember my brother called me the morning of, because we knew it was going to be soon, and he just said, Dad is gone. That was simply what he said. He's gone. He's gone now.
Wow. And you were living in New England this time, right?
Correct. Okay. Yeah, I was living in New England, and I was serving at a church as a youth pastor. And so a lot of this process, interestingly, I was able to be very open with about death and loss with the students that I was mentoring. So there was something therapeutic about that, sharing with them and opening my life to them. But yeah, so then that day, Dad passed. It was a heavy day, and I don't know how much I wrestled with those emotions, but there was a sense of absence, a large sense of absence. But life continues, and so in a sense, I still had responsibilities to take care of. So it's unfortunate, life doesn't stop. You still have to keep going. So,
did you feel like you grieved for 3 years? And was that 3 years different then from how, when he actually passed?
Yeah, and so when he finally did pass, it wasn't like a heavy weight, because I think that pieces of that weight were placed on me throughout that period of losing pieces of my dad. So the grief, it was like grieving certain things. And I think the grief aspect I felt emotionally the most was in the loss of people around me. Like, for example, my sister wouldn't have her dad at her wedding.
Oh, interesting.
And so that was something that actually brought a lot of emotion out of me. And things like that, like how others around me might be experiencing this too. I felt that in a big way.
Yeah. Katie, how about you? I mean, your dad wasn't at your wedding.
Yeah, he wasn't at a lot of things, because I was 16 when he passed away. But yeah, I think those days following, it was totally different for me. I was in shock. It was like I said before, he was in my life one day and gone that same day by the afternoon. Just came home from school and he wasn't in my life anymore.
You were in school?
Yeah. Yeah, so I was in school the whole day. I still remember we came home and Dad's car was in the driveway, which was weird because he should be at work. And we couldn't find him. It was a crazy day. And then later that night, we were told, because my brother and I went to my grandparents' house and my mom was kind of just looking for my dad. And
your mom didn't know either. Wow.
So then we got picked up from my grandparents, and I remember Pastor Joe was there and my high school youth pastor at the time, and they kind of, my mom was the one that had to tell us. So it really was a shock, and those following probably a week or two, I was in literal shock. I just remember feeling like the world was all happening around me, and I was just in a daze. I was just kind of watching people come and go, and I was in my PJs for a week, and it was just, I felt like I cried all the tears I could, so I was just kind of sitting there numb. And then my mom, I felt bad for her because she's having to plan a funeral and still operate while she's also in shock and grief. I could just sit there and watch TV all day as a kid, and that's pretty much what I did. But I will say, we saw the body of Christ really become a tangible thing for us. The church just came around us in such a beautiful way. It was like a revolving door at our house in a good way. People dropping off groceries, people dropping off lunch, people bringing casseroles, people dropping off cards. It was they just swarmed us in the best way possible. And I think I learned the beauty of how the church is called to be the body, and how sometimes that is like a tangible hands and feet of Christ coming to your door with a casserole in hand.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I learned a lot about how to take care of people in grief just by watching my church take care of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Well, don't go away. We'll be right back.
Watch Lighthouse TV wherever you go. Available on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV. You can view our in-house studio productions on demand or watch what's on the station right now with our 24/7 live stream. Search Lighthouse TV online on your streaming device or go to our website for more information. Visit lighthousetv.org to stay connected. There you can find out what's currently on the air and coming up, how to watch in your area on cable, satellite, broadcast, or streaming devices. Watch past programs or our live stream. Follow us on social media and learn more about the station, our hosts, and our programming. Lighthouse TV, positively different.
Welcome back to Face the Issues. Katie, I thank you for sharing that. And I think it's so interesting, like completely different for me. Because my dad was a traveling minister, which meant like we didn't see him regularly. And so like, I think in the early days, people would be like, so I just turned 23 when my dad passed. And people would be like, so is it weird that he's not coming home for dinner? It's like, first of all, I'm in grad school. So like it's different, right? Like I'm not coming home for dinner. But secondly, no, I don't remember, like I remember my dad being home for dinner maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks from the time I was maybe in 5th grade on. And so it's like, it's just a different thing. So there wasn't this daily grieving for me. In fact, what was different was when I picked up my phone, I would call him once a week. And so I would like forget, and he was number 5 on my speed dial, flip phone back then, right? So I hit 5, and then I would forget until his voicemail came up. And I'd be like, oh, right. And like that was always kind of the thing for me. It was interesting. I was the one that sat on my dad's funeral committee. And that was a mess. I won't get into details, but that was just because he was a minister and because he was as well known as he was, like everybody wanted a piece of that memorial. And like it's like he was very coherent in his final week. And so he had actually planned out most of his funeral. Wow. So he had chosen a pastor friend of his to do it. He had chosen what psalms he wanted read, what hymns he wanted sung. And we get to these meetings, and then there's people who are like, no, we don't want that pastor preaching. We want, it was, that part was probably more trying. But I think it was like kind of the longer run for me as weeks kind of went on. I mean, right after the funeral, we waited a week and a half before the funeral. So right after he passed on a Thursday, I was back on the plane to grad school on Friday.
Wow.
And back in class. And then what was interesting was I didn't think my day-to-day was affected. Like what you're talking about, I was like, no, I'm fine. But I remember I had to write a 3-page book report, like a 3-page book review for grad school. And it took me like 16 hours. And it should have taken me 1. And words failed me, and I was getting really angry because I was like, this is dumb. Like I'm not crying. I'm not this is stupid. I don't know why my brain doesn't function. To this day, I still don't know why. But it was just something like I wasn't crying. I wasn't in my PJs, but I could not function. It was so strange.
That's kind of how it was for me also. I went to work that day. You know, wow. My brother called me in the morning. I went to work, and a similar experience. I was not productive. I couldn't do anything. It's odd.
It's so weird because like I felt fine. I think people at the funeral cried more than I did, and it was like, but I can't function, and it was a super weird thing. I'm really curious, and either of you can kind of start with this. Like, as time moved on, what did it happen to that grief and that struggle? Like. And were there regrets in your relationship with your dad? And like, if so, like when did those play in? How did you deal with that? Either of you can jump on that one.
I think for me, like as far as regrets, I try to like not think about it because I think it's natural to have regrets. Like, oh, what if I had done this? You know, like the morning I said goodbye to him, I remember like I didn't say I love you. Like I will always carry that with me. But it wouldn't have changed what happened that day. And thinking about it isn't going to bring him back somehow. So I try really hard to not think about the regrets because I find them not helpful. But as far as like how grief kind of changed and evolved over time, someone told me when I had just lost my dad, this was so helpful to me. Maybe you've heard this before, but I think when you first lose someone, you're like in the deep part of the ocean, like drowning. Like you just feel like you're never going to be above water. And then somewhere along the way, you get to a point where you're like treading water, but the waves are still like knocking you under. And you kind of, as time goes on, you move closer and closer to the shore. Maybe you're at a point where you're standing, you're out of the water, but then waves come and they still like knock you off your feet. I feel like now I'm at a place where my feet are in the water. Like I still feel the waves come. Most of them are small. That's not to say there are still waves that knock me off my feet, like random things out of nowhere. But I think that was helpful for me to know, like, okay, it won't always feel like I'm drowning. I will always be grieving. Like I will always miss my dad. I think about him daily, but like I won't always be drowning or treading water. Days might come, weeks might come where I'm like underwater, but I'll get back up again. And, you know, it's more often that there's just these little waves that come like, oh, that song made me think of him, or, oh, I wish he could be here to see this. And then there's other things like, yeah, getting married and my dad couldn't walk me down the aisle. That was a big wave.
Yeah.
Having a baby and him him never meeting my daughter and possibly future children, that's a big wave. But for the most part, I'm like standing ankle deep.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah. For me, similar. I don't know that dwelling on regrets is a helpful or healthy thing. But as my dad was coming closer to the day he passed, he had a number of people from his life visit him, which I found really interesting because it was almost like, oh, there's a lot to this guy, to my dad, that I didn't really know. And so, having those friends visit, it made me wish I had asked him more questions about his life. Maybe involve him more in mine and my daily thought process and everything. There definitely was that look of like, here's an individual that I wish I knew a little bit more about him.
Last question real quick, a few seconds each. If you could say one thing to your dad today, what would it be?
Thank you for the example you set. Yeah.
Love it. Katie?
I think I love you and I can't wait to be where you are in heaven.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Yeah, I think mine's probably somewhere in the mix of that. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That is our show for this evening. This is the first of a two-part conversation, and so we hope you'll tune in again next week as we wrap up this conversation talking about life after loss. But until then, my thanks to Kevin and Katie for joining us. My thanks to each of you for tuning in. My name is Sam Chen. On behalf of all of us at Face the Issues, thank you and good night.